I just want to give you a little demo in case you're having any trouble flashing the memory card, the SD card, with Ubuntu Linux server for your Raspberry Pi. So you're probably already through with this, but I wanted you to attempt it on your own before I gave you this video. And so if you are having any trouble, this might help. So here are the instructions. Micro SD card configuration tutorial. And when you put the card in your reader here, you can see how that goes in with the it goes in just a certain way. And then you just be careful, don't damage the card when you put it in. And honestly, it took me a while to get that seated just properly, but it's once you see how to do that, it's not too difficult. Now then, so you open up your Raspberry Pi. Let me close this so you can see where I go to open it. Well, here it is. Let me close it again. Here it is. It's in your, well, I'm on a Mac, but in your Windows it'll be similar. It's in your applications once you've downloaded it, of course, and installed it. And so the Raspberry Pi imager, so let's open that. And here we go, choose device, as it says, and you want to choose the Raspberry Pi 4. Yep, Raspberry Pi 4. Choose OS. Now here, it tells you for the OS, go to Other General OS, then go to Ubuntu, then choose Ubuntu Server 24.04 64-bit. Well, that's all still true, but there's a little bit of a difference. Here we go. Other, what did it say? Other general purpose OS. Here it is. Find that, then find Ubuntu, and then find Ubuntu Server. Be sure to get the server and not the desktop. Ubuntu Server 2404 LTS 64-bit. Now the thing that's different here, and I guess I've got an upgraded, I must have upgraded my imager, or else the imager goes and gets the current information from what's available. But at any rate, it's now 24042 LTS. So it may be a little different from here on out. I'm just not sure. I set this up in January. There's a little history about this course. I first taught it in last year, and it was we were using a Texas Instrument board, and we were using embedded C. Now I'm going to send you a video just for your uh, knowledge of how the final project looked in that course, because you're going to do roughly the same thing for this course, only in this course we're using a Raspberry Pi and a breadboard, and honestly most of the work in this course is involved with wiring up your circuits on the breadboard and setting up your hardware, your Raspberry Pi and your operating system and all that. In the course last year that I taught, it was same course, but we just used different hardware, and there was no setup on the hardware. It was just a Texas Instrument board, all the peripherals, the temperature sensor, the LEDs, they were all already on board. All you had to do was write the code in embedded C and flash the code onto the board and run it. And that sounds better, but in that course, the emphasis was mostly on developing the code, and it was not trivial. In this iteration of the course, most of your work is going to be on the hardware, and the code is pretty much given to you. They leave you a few things to do on your own, but the logic is all sort of there. You just have a few things to fill in. So it's still, you're still going to learn some good coding techniques, but mostly you're going to learn the hardware end of embedded systems in this course. And that's exactly why I'm going to send you a video sometime this weekend showing you how the code looked for the final project last term. That way you've got two different perspectives on the same thing, because it's basically the same project, just from two different angles. Then it was mostly coding. This time it's mostly wiring things up on your hardware. Anyway, it's all good. It's all good stuff. I just don't want you to miss out on anything. So anyway, that's but also in January when we did this, that's when I set up my Raspberry Pi. So I already have my Raspberry Pi set up. So I'm not going to put this new operating system on it. I already just have 2404 64-bit server. Now it looks like an upgraded version, so we'll have to see how that works. But what I'm doing now, I did get myself another micro SD card so that I can demonstrate to you how to flash the card. I'll make another video after this where I'll SSH into my Raspberry Pi, and we'll look around and see how that works. So we've got Raspberry Pi 4, Ubuntu server 2404, LTS 64-bit. Choose storage, and it should find the card. Now I just flashed this card a few minutes ago just to make sure that was going to work. So let me remove it and put it in again. Here it is. So now it's showing up. generic SD MMC media. So it should be obvious if you've got your SD card plugged in to the USB port with your adapter. This should find it. Okay, then we're going to hit next. Oh, before we hit next, let's look down here. Here it is, number 11. Before you proceed, you must configure some advanced options. So we're going to hit Shift Control X on the keyboard. Shift Control X. And now up comes the OS customization. So host name, that's what I'm going to call it. CS350 lab.local. Set username. Just you can make it your first name, your last name, anything you want. Make yourself a password. Be sure to check the configure wireless LAN, and then SSID. So you want to, I'm looking at my router over here. Look on your router. It should have the network name, the Wi-Fi network name, ATT8H6X7SK, which is what I have here. So that's what you want. And then your password, my router has the password on a sticker on the side of it because presumably nobody's going to be in my office here at home looking at that except people I know. And then if they are in my home, they're welcome to get the password and use the home network. So find that password and type it in for your home network. And then wireless LAN country, that's US for me and probably for you. Set locale settings. I'm in Central Time. I live in Florida, but I'm over near Pensacola, so it's Central Time. And keyboard layout, US. Now go to the Services tab, and you want to enable SSH, very important to check that box, and then check Use Password Authentication. Options, yeah, I would check all of those. And now we're going to save that. And then so now we selected services, we selected options. After saving, you should double check that the configurations are correct by pressing Shift Control X and return, just to make sure all your changes were saved. So Shift Control X again, and just run through the tabs and make sure everything you put on there is still there. So it is. So now you don't have to save it again, just X out. So now we can select next. And then select yes. And now we're going to get a dialog that says all existing data on your micro SD card will be erased if you proceed. So you want to pick yes there too. And it says your computer may pop up a security dialog asking for permission to continue. And indeed it does. So I'm going to type in my password. And so our card is being written to. Now when this process is completed, it'll tell you it's done. At that point, let's see, what do you do then? Okay, it'll tell you that the Ubuntu server has been written to your SD card. You can now remove it from the reader. Do not install the card in the Raspberry Pi before assembling the Raspberry Pi inside its case. That's very important. Now, as I said, I put my Raspberry Pi together in January, and they didn't send me another one. I asked for one, but I haven't heard back. I wanted to be able to do that for you. Would it be difficult to do anyway? I use the camera on my computer as I make these videos, and I would have to hold all of that up in front of the camera and it would be very difficult to assemble it correctly like that. So I really don't have any way to film that as I do it. But when that's all done, and here you want your Raspberry Pi in a case like that, you'll have a ribbon attached to your breadboard. Here's my bread. And by the end of the term, your breadboard should look just like this. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's not trivial work, but it's going to be fun. So anyway, so assemble your Raspberry Pi in the box, and there are instructions for that. And then put the card in and start it up, and you should be able to use SSH to get in. I'm going to send you a video also that will show you a little bit about that. But that's it for this one. My card is still flashing, but you don't need to stick around and watch that. So I'll see you again soon.